I don't
like,
know
I'm
if
gonna wait
you've
to play this year.
seen. I don't know if you've seen footage of Scarlet and Violet, but it looks
Yeah, I
bad.
haven't. I bought
The
the Scarlet and
anti-aliasing is
Violet
bad.
Switch. I own
It
I
runs
own the
did, and
poorly.
it kept me from
game.
picking it up. Like,
Yeah.
I saw that, and that was the critique, and I was like, my kids aren't asking for it. I'm just gonna, like, we already have a Pokemon game. We'll keep playing that one. Yeah.
But even if that wasn't an issue, both of those games or pairs of games, I guess, because they release, the two at a time, Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, they're really, really iterative of X and Y and Black and White and the games that came before. It's just that the camera's kind of pulled back in third person. You can kind of run around, and there's like various different viewpoints. Like it's just kind of giving you a few more angles, a few more, a little more variants of the same old, tried and true formula. And people are like, what the heck is this? I want, now that we see games like God of War and stuff where they take an IP and they completely revamp it and evolve it. I think people were looking for something on, what they consider to be a flagship console. And really these games have been incredibly iterative since like the early 2000s. So the fan base for, like, I think Pokemon's the best-selling IP of all time. If not, it's very close. For that IP is rabid for some sort of evolution of the content. And Nintendo and Game Freak have just not given it to them. So what this studio that made Palworld has been able to accomplish is they have taken everything that is Pokemon, which is it's a very basic formula. They've taken that, and then they've taken the survival crafting style game of your Rust, the Forest, Ark Survival Evolved, Valheim, all of these games that are quite popular actually, and they've merged that type of game, almost overlapped it a little bit on top of what Pokemon already is. And by merging the mechanics of both of those types of games, they've evolved that type of game considerably. And the fact that Rust or like the Forest style game is such a like internet gamey type of game, like very Twitch friendly, like people like to watch it. A lot of the internet likes to play it. Minecraft, such a big deal. It's ripe for it to with the appeal of Pokemon and like these type of little cute little monster things that you fight with, and the well-knownness of Pokemon as an IP and as a medium, and then putting that type of game into that type of aesthetic and genre. That's why it's blown up. The unfortunate thing for me is I've never liked Rust or Minecraft or Valheim or any of those like chop the wood, build your base. What I can't stand those games. I can't play them for like longer than 30 minutes. So that's exactly what happened when I started playing this game. I was like, oh, okay. Like I start with nothing, and I'm like, when do I get to like battle the like? Yeah, like it took me like 20 minutes to craft a Pokeball essentially out of like materials, and that was one. Like I got one ball to throw at, and I captured like a little like penguin owl looking thing. And I was like, okay, that was cool. Like I'm glad that I now have I think his name was Hoocrates, like Hoot and Socrates. So that's cute. But I was like, oh, I got my little Hootcrates. So that's cool. But like the amount of effort that it took me to get there, it like really felt like I was like playing Rust or something. And I was like, oh boy, this game is not for me, dude. Like I just want to be podunking around and going into the next town. And like, have you heard about the Pokemon Museum? It's up the road. Like I like that stuff, the stupidness of
it's familiar.
Pokemon.
There's a comfort level, into how Pokemon. Now, did you play it through Game Pass or did you buy it on Steam?
Game Pass.
Nice, yeah. Such a great thing. What about you, Jay? What did you what's your takeaway from Palworld?
I thought it was pretty good. But again, it's not me. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
You know what's more than pretty good, and I think it's for me and for you, Brian, and for everybody out there. It's Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, baby.
Dude, Prince of Persia. Like, I'm so glad I played this game. I will tell you guys, I ran into a few technical difficulties when trying to play the PC demo and putting it on GeForce Now, which is supported by GeForce Now. So I ended up after several attempts to get that to work and not work, local and GeForce, I jumped over to my Switch, and I played it on the Switch, and I
It
was like, this
looks
is great.
so good on Switch. This has to be one of the, like we were just talking about poorly optimized games for Switch. It's 60 frames, it's crisp, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I can't imagine what it looks like on the OLED. I have the
Oh.
original LCD Switch model.
The OLED, it looks even better.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so nice, so crisp.
This game is so it's a visual feast. Gameplay wise, it's amazing. It's a shame it didn't come out like last November, because I think it would have got maybe some awards. I think it might have edged out Armored Core for that action game of the year, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, this is like,
bold.
yeah, this is like, I mean, hey, Jeff Grubb said it would have been his number 3 game of last year. And so I think everybody's really hot on this, as hot as they can be for, like, it feels like this is almost kind of windfall to last year. Like, it doesn't really, like, I don't think people are going to, like, remember this come awards season this year. Like, they're going to think it came out last year. It just feels kind of like an extra bonus, like after Christmas dinner, you know, like, oh, here's your Prince of Persia as well. In addition to the best year of gaming and Baldur's Gate and all the things that we got.
I'm so happy they went with the kind of this, I almost would define as a 2D HD, you know, kind of approach, as opposed to like, because there were Prince of Persias that were, because I've played
2D and a half, maybe
2D and a half, but also 3D, like they've done to where
Yeah.
you're trying to like navigate through kind of a puzzled room and, you know, get to different locations. And I thought those games were great, but this really, I think, does return it to that force where it can really shine and be that Metrovania. And at some point you wonder if Metrovania adds on, you know, Prince or something like that, where it's like, yeah, if they want to establish this, because I've also been playing like Blasphemous 2, and it's like I really
yes,
dude,
yes, brother,
yes, dude.
Now you see why I put that on our indie game list, don't you?
I'm glad you did. That's why I was like, all right, I got, you know, I'm gonna follow this guy's advice and see what he thinks. But yeah, so it's like that 2.5D, and the thing is that there's these subtle things that I always appreciate. Like, it always feels like when you feel like the devs went the extra mile, and it was like I was just doing this normal parry, and all of a sudden it kicked into this like changed the camera angle, and I did this like execution, and I was like,
dude, this game is so anime.
That.
It's so anime. Like, he's like, I half expected to just do like a Hadouken or something, like when you're fighting.